15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hey there, UAH fans. I'm Morris Lilienthal. If you've been injured in an accident, visit morristheattorney.com right now to get the help you need. Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you. I have personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims, and I'm ready to help you too. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 5-star Google reviews. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. Look forward to helping you. Go Chargers.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talkin Ball with Scott and Drew.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. On a Friday morning live from Bill Penney Toyota out here in the service department. Talkin Ball holding serve until 9 a.m. And we're just kind of going over the fact of this SEC dominance and everything. It just what does it really mean to college football? What is it really going to do to the expansion of the playoff talks? How eager will it be for everybody to get on board with it? And really the main thing, it's not about teams right now. It's Greg Sankey's just sitting in his office laughing at the rest of the college football world because it's the Rose Bowl not wanting to move their time slot, and the Big Ten, it's just Big Ten wanting it to be an automatic bid if you win your conference. Those are really the holdups. I mean, so it's not just teams and the money and all that stuff. It's stupid stuff that's holding this back from getting there, and we'll wait and see.
It's all about the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and this stupid Rose Bowl, and then they don't want to bend. They want concessions for what they are, and they shouldn't be getting them because they stink.
And until they wake up and realize that the Rose Bowl, yes, it is a great game, but once the Rose Bowl, if the Rose Bowl moves, then it might let the rest of the college football
just goes to show you, man,
catch up.
They don't care. They can't see the forest for the trees. They don't understand that they stink, and they still think they're a force in college football, and neither league is.
One of the things that is changing in college football is the name, image, and likeness situation, and this is the first national championship that we have had with name, image, and likeness being a big factor in it, because now that Georgia won, a lot of guys, Stetson Bennett taking advantage of it. He has a Raising Cane's deal. He surprised a bunch of people at some Raising Cane's. Chicken finger places over in Georgia. Keely Ringo is taking advantage of it as well. He has a clothing apparel merchandise going live, and it's T-shirts with him on it, and it's called Sealed the Deal, with his pick six in the national championship game. It's officially licensed merchandise that you can buy from Keely. Well, and all the money basically goes to benefit Keely Ringo. This is name, image, and likeness coming out of the national championship, just like we see with the Super Bowl, and like Malcolm Butler, who struck it big with the New England Patriots with his interception of the Seahawks there at the end. Keely Ringo cashing in on this from the national championship game. Yeah. It's another odyssey that we got to get used to in college football.
Yep. Name, image, and likeness is here to stay, and certainly Keely Ringo is benefiting from that. Young man from Arizona who decided he didn't want to play in the Pac-12. Can't blame him. He wanted to play in the best conference, and he made a huge play in the game. He sealed the national championship. He's going to reap the benefits. And Stetson Bennett, even though I don't think he'll play a minute in the NFL, really good college quarterback. Was a heck of a story coming off from being a walk-on to winning a title at Georgia. It's going to be somebody will write a book about it. And now he'll be a legend in the state of Georgia for the rest of his career, his life. And certainly he won't have to buy a drink or dinner probably anywhere. And congratulations to him. And I don't blame either one of those young men for cashing in.
Right. All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. If you want to get in on the conversation this morning, now is a great time to do so. And we did mention, we were talking about it with Brandon, and he talked a little bit about it, but Jameson Williams did officially declare for the NFL draft.
He certainly did, and no doubt that that's not surprising. People were wondering if he would because of the injury. Again, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. I still think he's going to make money, and I still think he's the best receiver in the draft, really, when you look at it, because there's nobody that can do what he can. And that what I mean is blow the top off of a defense. Even if you double him, he can outrun angles. He's showed a lot of toughness in the way he played at Alabama, I thought. He got better every week, and I think it's a credit to Bill O'Brien, and that's why I just laugh when people criticize B.O.B. and want him to leave and go to the NFL. These are the same idiots that wanted Brian Dable to go to the NFL because they thought he impeded Jalen Hurts' development. They don't understand the game at all. They're not smart enough to understand it. And Brian Dable's done a great job with Josh Allen in Buffalo. I hope he's the next coach of the Miami Dolphins because I think he can help Tua Tagovailoa, because I don't think Brian Flores understands offense at all. Looks like Brian Flores might be the next coach of the Houston Texans. Good for him because they made a change, but David Culley being gone. But again, I just think overall when you look at it, I think that that Jamison Williams is a guy that can make plays in this league. I mean, he's somebody that's every bit as explosive as a Jalen Waddle or a Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy. He's in the same category. Alabama's system allowed him to showcase his talents. He didn't get a chance to do that at The Ohio State University, another black eye for the Big Ten. So to me, I just think he's the best receiver in the draft, and I hope, secretly, and that he ends up in either New England or Miami, because I think he could help both Tua and Mac.
All right, 7:44 on a Friday morning. Let's get our break in. When we come back, going to wrap up hour one of Talking Ball live from Bill Penney Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Carrier Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortAndSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Got a wreck at Governor's in Governor's Bend. Got a vehicle that hit a deer there. Apparently the deer's still alive, so they're calling emergency crews to that area. Parkway in Oakwood, one of the vehicles left the scene. I don't think that one's got any blockage and no injury reported. Parkway in front of Station 8, that's north of Maston Lake. That's in front of Fire Station 8. That one had an HPD unit involved with an injury reported. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Couple housekeeping notes. Auburn has set a day for April 9th. That'll be Brian Harson's second A-Day with the Tigers, and you may need a program for that A-Day, as the Tigers expected to get a bunch of guys out of the transfer portal in the next few weeks, as Brian Matthews told us yesterday. So that could be an interesting A-Day game for Auburn come April 9th. And then Henry Parrish, Ole Miss running back, rushed for over 500 yards this season for the Rebels, has put his name in the transfer portal. So he gone.
Yeah, and remember, Ole Miss, they've had several go into the portal since the end of the season. John Rice Plumlee, he ended up going to follow Gus Malzahn to UCF, so he's already moved on.
Do you think he goes back and plays quarterback for them, or has he made that move?
I think he's going to be a receiver. But he didn't get a lot of playing time at receiver for the Rebels.
Right.
And I think he's going to try to – and I think he's going to play baseball too. So that's going to be interesting to see, what happens there. And then, like I said, Ole Miss, they also got a transfer running back from TCU, so they who's heavily sought after a few years ago. So that's one reason why you're going to see guys like Parrish hit the portal.
I mean, we're going to say this one because we've got to say it, but it's probably the biggest no-brainer of all. But Evan Neal has entered the NFL draft.
Oh, good Lord, everybody knew that was going to happen.
We did. Well, he declared. We want to at least say that he entered the draft.
He may be the first pick overall. I think he should be with what Jacksonville needs, because they've got Cam Robinson. They need another tackle to protect their investment, both their investments in Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. But, yeah, man, there's no doubt that he made the right decision. He and Jameson Williams, to me, should be first-round picks for the University of Alabama. I think they've got some other guys that can go second, third, fourth round. We'll see what happens with Jordan Battle and Christian Harris and even John Mechie, though I do think Mech needs to come back to school and lead this wide receiver core. But we'll see. No, I think the deadline is coming up. It's going to be on Monday. So they've still got a few more days to think about it. But, again, Alabama's had a lot of guys hit the portal. We just talked about Zach Evans from TCU going to Ole Miss. Well, Alabama, I don't think they're done in the portal. They've lost quite a few guys, but really the only one of concern is Drew Sanders, and even he had lost his starting job. So we'll see. But, again, the transfer portal is just part of it, and you're going to see guys moving.
All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the show, especially hour number one here. If you want to talk, we've been talking about the SEC and the rest of college football. And what does it mean for the SEC dominance in the rest of college football? That is what we have got going on right now. All right, let's continue on as well. Last night at home, the UAH Chargers dominated Christian Brothers from tip to finish last night. An impressive win. You heard head coach John Schulman yesterday on the show. The Chargers came out on fire. And I mean on fire. They played a frantic pace. They were trapping the whole entire time.
Did they, once again, I know he was talking about what they did the last game against Shorter. Did they press the whole game?
They pressed the whole game. They played like their hair was on fire the whole entire night. Led from start to finish. Christian Brothers was never in this ball game. UAH wins 82-61. At one point, the lead was 30 at one point in this game. So that means tomorrow the Chargers back at home, 4 o'clock, tip inside Sprague Hall. You'll be able to hear that game on Zone 2. Alabama basketball coverage starts at 4. They'll take on Mississippi State at 5. That'll be on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So congratulations to John Schulman and the UAH Chargers. They are now 4-4 in Gulf South Conference play. So that was a big win for them last night. C.J. Williamson led the way with 19 points, the sharpshooter out of Guntersville. So
yep,
it was a good
7
night.
of 8 from the floor, huh?
Yep. It was a good night for the Chargers out there playing a little basketball. It was a fun night at Sprague Hall when they play like that and they play like they did. It was a fun night. So tomorrow we do get some Alabama basketball taking on Mississippi State on the road.
Yeah, we'll talk to Brian Pasick in the second hour, but no doubt it's a huge game for Alabama. They've got to stop the bleeding. They did not play well at all at Missouri and lost that game 92-86, and then lost a hard-fought battle to one of the best teams in the country in the Auburn Tigers. They're 2-2 in the SEC, and they go to Starkville, Mississippi to take on Ben Howland's Bulldogs. And that's a winnable game for Alabama, I think, but it's certainly going to be a tough one. Probably going to be another close battle down to the end. But, Garrison Brooks is now with Mississippi State. They've got a lot of size on their team. They've got some veterans, and they're coming off of an 88-72 win over the Georgia Bulldogs, where they trailed early but came back and won impressively. So Alabama needs to get a win over Mississippi State on the road and to get some momentum going in the SEC, and certainly it'll be a big game, and Brian Pasick will talk some Alabama hoops with us in the second hour.
All right, we are just about done with our number one here this morning. We're live here at Bill Penney Toyota out here in the service department. Don't forget, you can get your car serviced Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, I know we played it the other day and we talked about it and everything.
this Kayvon Thibodeau stuff, it is really still catching fire all across the country. I mean, people now are really reacting to his comments.
And they were ignorant.
Yeah,
that's all you can say. They were just terrible.
I keep going through and looking, and you keep seeing that now the national perspective is just people are starting to catch on, and I think he would have been fine if he not would have taken the educational shot at everybody in Alabama.
Which shows how stupid he is.
Because I don't think he understands that, especially here in the city of Huntsville, how many PhDs, rocket scientists, I mean, just intellectually smart individuals we have here, especially in the North Alabama area. All right, that's hour one. We're done with that hour. But we're not done with the day. We've got one more hour to go, live from Bill Penney Toyota here in the service department. Mike Herndon, we're going to talk some Tennessee Titans football. They get to put their legs up on the sofa this weekend and rest because they have a bye. We'll talk Titans playoff football when we return.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s. Overall, not a bad end of the work week across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures drop into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy Saturday. The first half of the day on Saturday looks rather pleasant. Temperatures climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s. The second half of Saturday, really anything beyond the lunch hour, is going to feature widespread rain across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a report of a couple of different wrecks on the Parkway northbound right near the Whitesburg overpass. One of those has got injuries. One on Morningstar off Ryland Pike's got a school bus involved. No injury whatsoever in that. Moores Mill and Jordan southbound got a wreck there. One of the vehicles is across the railroad tracks. Governors and Governor's Bend had a vehicle hit a deer. Should be clearing on that one. The Somnodent from Dr. Sandman is insurance accepted for sleep apnea and for snoring. It's an easy-to-use oral device. No mask, no hose. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
2 AFC playoff games tomorrow to kick off Wild Card Weekend. The Raiders getting 5.5 at the Bengals, and later the Bills -4 at home against the Patriots, their first playoff meeting in the Super Bowl era. Another AFC game Sunday, the Steelers +12.5 at the Chiefs. In the NFC Wild Card Sunday, the Eagles an 8.5-point dog against the Bucks on the road, and the Cowboys -3 at home against the Niners. Finally, on Monday night, the Cardinals getting 4 points on the road against the Rams. NBA, the Hawks going on the road, taking on the first place Heat. Atlanta 17-23, and in fourth, they're a 4-point road underdog.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Tomorrow we do get NFL football, Wild Card Saturday. It is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. That one will kick off at 3:30. And then you have the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. That one gets underway at 7:15. Then on Sunday, you get Tampa Bay taking on Philadelphia and Dallas and San Francisco. And then you get Kansas City and Pittsburgh. And then on Monday, the Rams and Arizona. What's missing from that schedule? The Tennessee Titans.
That's a good
Titans.
Thing,
yep, that is a good thing because they earn the AFC's top seed. That means they get a bye. They will be at home for the first round of the playoffs. They'll be at home throughout the whole thing as long as they're in it for the first round of the playoffs. Even better, they could have Derrick Henry back next week as well. Julio Jones will be there. So this team, albeit who have not played together a lot this season because of injuries, has their whole unit back for the playoffs.
Yes, they do. And our first guest is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He's part of Broadway Sports Media, and he does a great job covering the Tennessee Titans. And we're going to talk a little Titans regular season and then setting themselves up for what could be a Super Bowl run. They are the number one seed in the AFC. I think, Mike Vrabel should be Coach of the Year in the NFL. But that's Mike Herndon, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Mike, welcome back. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
Well, the Titans, you look at it, Mike, and to get to where they are, the AFC's top seed at home for the playoffs, they get the bye. With all of the injuries that Mike Vrabel had to go through this year,
wow,
you have to sit and look and think, it's a pretty amazing feat and job of coaching for what they had to go through.
It really is. It's one of the most impressive coaching jobs that I can remember, at least, from a Titan-centric standpoint for sure, and really NFL-wide, because if you throw in the league record, 91 players used, and then plus the fact that not only were your players injured, but it was Derrick Henry. It was Julio Jones missing 7 games. It was A.J. Brown missing really 5 games if you really look at, the Colts game. He got injured in the first drive and was out for the rest of that one. But all of those guys going down, all of the parts and pieces being changed out and moved around, and they just kept winning. And they kept winning against a really good schedule, 8 wins against teams with above 500 records, which is an NFL record as well. This team beat good teams with spare parts and pieces, and I don't know how you can attribute that to anything but coaching.
Yeah, no question about it. And obviously their defense improved exponentially as the season went on. I know they got off to a rough start. And then with losing Derrick Henry, I really wasn't sure. I thought they might be able to stay in the wild card race. I didn't anticipate them being the division winner and the number 1 overall seed. But for our listeners, talk about how the adjustments that Mike Vrabel made, the offensive coaching staff, to be able to continue to be productive. I guess it also goes to it says a lot about the depth on the roster.
Yeah, it's interesting. They kind of had an identity crisis, it felt like, right after Henry got hurt, right? Because you saw them bring in Adrian Peterson, and then they also brought in Foreman at that time too, but Foreman was kind of the secondary piece to Peterson, and they quickly figured out, well, Peterson isn't it, and pivoted to Hilliard and Foreman, and eventually kind of found that combo worked for them. So, a lot of stuff in the offense honestly has stayed pretty similar to what it is with Henry. Obviously, you don't have the breakaway runs and the long explosive plays, but I felt like Foreman gave them a lot as far as a power runner between the tackles, and Hilliard did give them a little bit of that lightning in the pass game, and also just getting out to the edge and being able to get the corner and get down the sideline. So those two really perform pretty admirably. Now, they put the ball on the ground way too much, which is something that, was never a issue with Henry and is something that you kind of take for granted at times. But, that issue aside, I thought both those guys played great football for them and really were on the street, before that. Now, neither of those guys had NFL jobs earlier in the season, and then they came in and were a big part of keeping the AFC's 1 seed afloat.
Mike, is there any worry about timing when it comes to, especially getting Julio back on the field? I know he was there for the regular season finale, but is there any worry about timing, do you think, between him and Ryan Tannehill?
I think a little bit, and I kind of think that's why they did almost kind of force-feed Julio some stuff in that game. I think they wanted to get some game reps between Tannehill and Julio in that finale. He not only hasn't played a ton of games, he also hasn't practiced a ton, right? Because he missed almost all of training camp. He was in and out of practices. There were some games that he played in where he didn't practice all week. So there's definitely a lack of reps at this point between those two, and I think you saw it. The Houston game, Julio played well, had a decent game for sure, but there was that bomb that Tannehill threw to him that Julio had his man beat, and he was open for what would have been a 60, 70-yard touchdown, and they just missed it. And that's where you see that timing is just off a little bit. So the good thing is they've got 2 weeks to work on it. Julio is practicing out there, and I think they're going to have a chance to really kind of peak as a duo in the playoffs.
And that is an exciting thing to think about. And then I would assume that barring the unforeseen and a setback that we're going to see Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think we're going to see Henry in the divisional round. And it'll be interesting to see how much Henry we see, whether it's 25, 30 carries like we're used to seeing, or if it's more of a 15 to 20 with Foreman mixing in. And I kind of think that might be where they're going as they kind of feel this thing out. But, look, it's the videos and everything you see coming out of training or out of practice look good. He looks like himself. He does not look like he's limping or favoring that leg in any significant way. I think there's a real chance that you see a guy, and his conditioning has always been unquestioned, right? So it's a non-zero chance that you see a very, very fresh and very, top of his powers Derrick Henry pretty quickly in playoffs, I think. And if that happens running against these defenses that have been playing for, 17 games already and are going to be coming off of another playoff game whenever they see him for the first time, that could make for some major explosions in the Titans run game.
We've talked a lot. We've had you on now for 10 minutes, and it's all offense. How healthy is this defense then going in to the bye of the playoffs and then going into that first round for them?
Yeah, so the defense is actually, almost completely healthy at this point. The last game of the season, they were without Tier Tart and Naquan Jones, which was really kind of, almost worrisome because they were both of your top nose tackles, but they managed to get through that game fine, and I think the expectation is that Tart and Jones will be back for the playoffs. And I think, Fulton was injured, returned to the game. Elijah Molden was injured. I don't think he returned, but I think the issue there may have been a stinger, so I think that's probably likely that we see him in the divisional round. So there's really not anybody who's unavailable. And to give you an idea of how healthy they are now, Rashaan Evans is basically not getting snaps. It is Zach Cunningham and David Long at linebacker, and Jayon Brown was a healthy scratch in Week 18. So that's a group that is very deep, very healthy all of a sudden, and the defense that has played really well since the bye, except for that last half that we saw against Houston where I felt like they kind of took their foot off the gas and tried to sleepwalk into the playoffs.
Well, and I've got a question too. What's the availability of Monty Rice, and do you expect him to play a role?
No, they've shut him down for the year.
For the year, gotcha.
Injury. Yeah, he's going to be out, and frankly, I don't think he would be in there anyways with the depth that they've got now, having added Cunningham. But I do think they're excited about him long term and for next year, but he's done for now.
Gotcha.
The Titans have had some good runs over the past few years. You know, some decent teams have gotten into the playoffs. You know, they made it to the AFC Championship game, going on the road and winning those road games. But is this realistically their best shot to get to the Super Bowl since going back to the Steve McNair, Eddie George days?
Oh, I think without question. Because if you look at the other team that got the one seed since then for them, it was the Kerry Collins 2008 team that had a great defense. But I think we all felt that Kerry Collins was kind of the weak link there. And if your weak link is your quarterback, you're just probably not going to go very far. And, you know, that team also started 10-0 and then finished 3-3 and were kind of limping going into the playoffs. This team, I feel like they got their rough stretch out kind of in that middle of the season when everyone was hurt, you know, when they had Nick Westbrook-Akina as their top wide receiver. And they started to surge back a little bit at the end of the year. So I feel like they have more momentum going into the playoffs. I feel like Ryan Tannehill is obviously a much, much better quarterback than Kerry Collins ever was. And I think it's a team that absolutely could go all the way. And if you look at the last 20 Super Bowl participants, 19 of them had the bye. So that is a huge deal, getting that rest, getting that week off. And I felt like that was something that they absolutely had to have to make a run, particularly with the background of this season with all the injuries and with Derrick Henry trying to work his way back from that toe. It's a huge deal that they got that. And I think this is their best chance to win the whole thing certainly since McNair and Eddie George and Frank Wycheck and all those guys were patrolling the sidelines at Nissan Stadium.
No question about it. And what are your thoughts on the on this playoff weekend coming up? How do you think this sets up, and you know, what would be a good matchup for Tennessee following this weekend?
Yeah, first I'm excited to watch all these games. I mean, 6 playoff games, and there's a lot of good matchups in there. And as a guy who loves watching teams play in the elements and outside and everything, I love that 4 of these 6 games are outside. But as far as matchup goes, you know, obviously the dream matchup is probably the Steelers, despite the result that happened a few weeks ago. The Steelers are just not a very good football team. They somehow managed to back into the playoffs, but unless they pull a major upset of the Chiefs, you're probably not going to see them. I think Patriots would be interesting too. I mean, it's kind of funny that out of the 4 teams that the Titans could play, which are the Bengals, Raiders, Patriots, or Steelers in the divisional round, they've lost to 2 of them and haven't played the other 2. But frankly, I think the 2 that they've played already and lost to are the teams that I'd rather see in matchups, because those are the shakiest quarterbacks. This Titans defense is not going to let you run all over them. So unless Mac Jones, who's really struggled over the past month, or Ben Roethlisberger, who's just a shell of himself right now, can throw all over this defense, and I just don't think they can. You know, I don't see how those teams are going to score a whole lot of points against the Titans. So I think you'd love to see an upset with either the Patriots knocking off the Bills or the Steelers knocking off the Chiefs and get one of those guys in the next round.
Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, was asked the other day about the culture and everything. And in today's NFL, where it's common that we see a lot of these owners interject themselves or they try to make themselves, you know, bigger and everything, make the story about them. Amy Adams Strunk has kind of set back in the shadows and let Mike Vrabel do what he needs to do to get this team where it needs to be.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought her up, because frankly, I think she doesn't get talked about enough as a great owner in the NFL, because that's really what she's become. If you look at this franchise and what it's done since she took over ownership in 2016, you know, they've won 6 straight. They've had 6 straight winning seasons, which only one other team has done that, the Chiefs. And if you look even behind the scenes, you've got St. Thomas Sports Park has been significantly renovated. They're about to open a huge new section of that. It looks great. They've done a lot of work over there. They've almost doubled their non-football staff. So they're investing a lot of money over there. They completely renovated the cafeteria, the kitchen, the way they feed their players, the training rooms, the weight rooms, everything like that has been upgraded and completely changed under her leadership. And now they're about to do $600 million worth of renovations to Nissan Stadium. So not only is she putting the right people in place and then taking her hands off of the wheel as far as the football operation goes, but she's doing a lot as far as pushing this team into the 21st century when it comes to facilities, when it comes to the way that this program operates, you know, both on and off the field, frankly. So she, to me, is, John Robinson deserves a ton of credit. Mike Vrabel deserves a ton of credit. But Amy Adams-Strunk does as well. She should be mentioned right alongside with those guys as far as changing the culture of this franchise in Nashville. And I think it's only up for here. She has done a phenomenal job, and I think they're in really good hands moving forward.
And then, Mike, when you look at it and you see how this plays out, I think we all think Tennessee can make a run here. Who is their stiffest challenge going forward? Is it still the Chiefs, or how do you see that how do you see it playing out for Tennessee?
You know, it's interesting because I think the Bills are probably the best overall team in the AFC as far as the potential Titans, matchups in the AFC Championship game. And I think they played them so tough the first time around, and maybe that's what's coloring my opinion is just the way the Chiefs looked so lifeless when they played here early in the season. I know they're a different team now, certainly, but I do feel like the Titans match up pretty well against the Chiefs, frankly, and I would be a little bit more concerned about Buffalo. So I think they're probably the one that I would least like to see in the AFC Championship game if I'm Mike Vrabel. But you're going to have to beat a good team to get all the way into the Super Bowl. So probably going to see one of those two, and I think I'd prefer it actually to be KC, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo, I think a lot of people think is an underrated squad, no doubt about it, and it really they hit a snag late in the year, but they were at one time looked like the best team in the AFC and still could be that. Going to be, I think, an outstanding playoff. I actually like this expanded, the 17-game schedule and the expanded playoffs. I think it's great for the National Football League, no doubt about it. But going to be hopefully a great run for the Tennessee Titans. We appreciate your insight as always, and let everybody know they can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Miracles on Twitter, and go to BroadwaySportsMedia.com. We've got all sorts of great Titans content as well as Preds Nashville SC over there.
Thanks, Mike. Good stuff.
Mike.
Thanks, guys.
All right, big stuff there with the Tennessee Titans, and they get to enjoy the bye. And for those Titans fans that maybe cannot get a ticket to the divisional game or the AFC Championship game, if the Titans are fortunate enough to get there, don't worry. Just like it was with the Predators a couple years ago in their run to the Stanley Cup Finals, Nashville's going to shut down Broadway, and they are going to put up big screens along Broadway for Titans fans to come on out and watch the game and hang out in downtown Nashville for the
But they won't let students go to Vandy games, though.
Well, that's Vanderbilt. That's not the city of Nashville.
I know, whatever. Stupidity.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll talk college basketball. Brian Pasick will break down Alabama, Mississippi State. Tide travel to Starkville.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. HPD's working on a couple of wrecks northbound on the Parkway near the Whitesburg Drive overpass. One of those got an injury involved. Morningstar off Ryland Pike had a school bus involved. No injury. They should be wrapping that one up pretty quick. Moores Mill and Jordan southbound got a vehicle there that's across the railroad tracks. HPD's working on it. Governors and Governor's Bend should be clear now. Snelling has immediate need for experienced accounting clerks. QuickBooks Experience a Plus. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hometown Lenders was founded right here in North Alabama on old school principles. We like to call them the 4 Ps. The best products, the best processes, competitive pricing, and of course, the best people. It's why we're one of America's fastest growing mortgage lenders. We're now adding a 5th P, the Hometown Promise. If we don't close on time, you don't pay a dime. Yes, you heard that right. On time, every time, or we refund 100% of our fees.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Leaving his mark on sports talk radio with a paddle.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Join Wes Neighbors weekday afternoons on The Drive, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We mentioned it a little bit ago. Big weekend for college basketball in the SEC. 18th ranked Kentucky hosting 22nd ranked Tennessee. You got South Carolina hosting Florida, 12th ranked LSU hosting Arkansas. Missouri will welcome Texas A&M. Georgia welcomes Vanderbilt. Ole Miss welcomes 4th ranked Auburn. And in a game you will hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 24th ranked Alabama travels just a little bit west as they're going to take on Mississippi State. Bulldogs come in 2-1 in SEC play. Alabama comes in 2-2 in SEC play. Drew, a road trip for Alabama Saturday.
Yes, it is. They need to, get back on the winning track. No doubt about it. It was disappointing, no question, the loss at Missouri. And then fought valiantly against one of the best teams in the country. And the Auburn Tigers became up just a little bit short and now are traveling to Starkville, Mississippi. And we're going to talk to the Crimson Tide's longtime color analyst, Brian Pasick from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Brian, how are you doing this morning, man?
Doing great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good. And Drew kind of alluded to it there. Alabama needing to bounce back. A disappointing loss on the road at Missouri. And then a tough loss the other night at home to Auburn.
Yeah, two disappointing losses, but for different reasons. The Missouri game is one Alabama would obviously like to have back. Team wasn't ready to go against the struggling Missouri team. I thought gave them life early with some just a bunch of missed opportunities. And Nate Oates talked about that after the game, that his team was not dialed in like they needed to be on the defensive end of the floor, and to give up 92 points to a team like Missouri, who struggled offensively the way they have all year long, was a disappointing performance. I thought the game on Tuesday night was a disappointing result. Alabama and Auburn is a big game regardless. Obviously a lot on the line, a top 25 matchup for the first time in this rivalry in a long, long time. And for Alabama to drop the home game is a disappointment. But I thought this team fought hard. They played hard, went through a few defensive lapses, especially early in the second half. But I thought played well enough to win if they would have shot the ball decent. We talked about it in the pregame show. One of the keys to the game was going to be Alabama's ability to make open shots. Auburn is so good defensively, especially around the basket, leading the nation in blocked shots. So there were going to be some opportunities on the perimeter for Alabama, and they had those opportunities, especially late in the game, and just couldn't get the three ball to fall with any consistency. I think shot 22% for the game. Not good enough against a top 5 team, one of the hottest teams in college basketball. Love the way this team fought hard, and I thought played well in a lot of areas, but got to make a couple open jumpers to beat a top 5 team, and Alabama wasn't able to do it.
Well, Brian, you were a great shooter at Alabama, and we know Nate Oates depends heavily. His philosophy is a lot of paint touches, which lead to three-pointers, and the three-point shot is a huge part of Alabama basketball. In your mind, and as you've watched this team develop and play now through the pre-conference and the early and 4 games into the SEC, how do you kind of get that rolling again offensively?
Well, I think exactly what you said. Paint touches is a key. Threes coming off of getting the ball around the basket, whether it's with the pass or the dribble drive, which is typically the case for Alabama. Three-point shooters are stepping into their shot. They're usually more open because you're converging the defense, making the defense move and work. Also, I think a key for this team, and we saw it during the comeback, when Alabama got down 14 against Auburn, they turned their defense into offense. And because the defense hasn't been quite as good this year and hasn't been as consistent, when they've struggled making shots, they haven't been able to lean on their defense like they did a year ago. And transition threes are also easier than going against a good half-court defensive team. Auburn's really good in the half court defensively. And they did a good job with their transition defense, as a lot of the top teams do. But nobody is as good in transition defense as they are in their set defense. And Alabama has had to go against set defenses way too much. And I think as their defense improves, their offense will follow suit. And that is typically the case. And listen, that's one of the reasons Alabama won the SEC championship last year, is because of their defense. The threes and the pace of play and the scoring, those get the headlines. But if Alabama wants to be back to where they were a year ago and compete for the SEC championship, and all that's still on the table, they're going to have to get more consistent on the defensive end.
Rebounding as well. Got to shore up some rebounding issues.
Yeah, and that is a part of defense, closing out defensive possessions. And you can be good on your first shot defense, but if there's a second and a third shot, you're not going to be very good defensively. And I think this team has improved rebounding the ball. It again, like their defense, it's been really good in spots and not so good in others, and it's a consistency thing. A lot of times in basketball, we think about shooting being an area of the game that can be up and down. And for this team, it's been defense and rebounding has been up and down. And I think it's going to improve as the year goes on, because I see guys emerging that can really help in those areas. Guys like Noah Gurley, who's playing his best basketball, the transfer from Furman, had some struggles in the non-conference. He's been a bright spot in conference play, and I think a huge key to the success of this team. He's played really well for the most part, in all these conference games. He shot the ball well. He's a guy that can rebound, defend, do all the things that Alabama needs to be more successful on both ends of the floor. And then also a guy like Darius Miles, who I thought played really well defensively against Jabari Smith, which it tells you why a lot of people think Jabari will be the number one overall pick in the NBA draft, is because I thought Alabama did a pretty good job on him, and he still scores 25 points. But I like what Darius Miles gives this team in terms of length and athleticism and versatility on the defensive end. So it's great to see him playing well along with J.D. Davis. And I think those three guys are keys for this team, because even though there have been some ups and downs with Alabama's big three, and they're the leading scoring trio in the SEC, and Devon Quinterly, Jaden Shackelford, and Keon Ellis, it's those other guys that I think need to step up, and they're starting to, which is a great sign. And that's why I didn't feel quite as bad walking out of Coleman Coliseum Tuesday night after that loss against Auburn, because I'm seeing some things out of those other guys that I think can lead to more success for this team, and they can become a better and more consistent basketball team as a result.
And Brian, talk about the matchup at Mississippi State. Ben Howland's team has added some pieces through the transfer portal. They're coming off of an 88-72 win over Georgia. How do you see this matchup in Stark Vegas?
It's a big game. It especially coming off the two losses that Alabama is coming off of. Alabama needs a win, and it's going to be a tough place to do it. Mississippi State is good. They're an NCAA tournament team, in my opinion, and they have one of the best players in the country in Iverson Molinar. He's coming off an incredible performance against Georgia, where he scored a career high, I think 28 points, had a career high of 7 or 8 assists. It was just dominant in that game. And it's not a one-man show. It's Starkville. I mean, Garrison Brooks, the former All-ACC player, transfer from North Carolina, has been really good in the middle. They've got some other transfers, DJ Jeffries from Memphis. They're one of their guards from NC State. Ben Howland's done a good job of incorporating some transfers into some veteran guys that they've had there for a while. Toulouse Smith is injured. I'm not sure if he's going to play tomorrow, but they're a good team, and it's a road game in the SEC. And the thing that I think I'm going to see from this Alabama team is a sense of desperation, which is great on the road. I think teams that play desperate typically play pretty well, play hard. They're usually focused in on the scouting report and all those things. I think Alabama's going to come in after 2 losses and play with a sense of urgency, a sense of desperation, which is much needed and was needed a week ago in Columbia, Missouri, and you didn't see that sense of urgency. I think we're going to see it tomorrow. Now, Mississippi State's good enough to beat you regardless, but hopefully Alabama will come in and play well and get a much-needed victory.
Is this all about the maturation process, though, of a team that we're seeing from Alabama? I mean, yes, they're a very talented group of guys, but it takes a little bit to mature and go through and figure a lot of these things out.
Yeah, I think so. And, teams progress in those areas, have different issues. When you don't have that maturity or leadership that this team had last year, there are different reasons for that. And this team, it's not an issue where you have anybody who's real, who's selfish or doesn't play hard or isn't about the team. That's not the case at all with these guys. They are team first, high character guys that want to win and put the team first. You just don't have some of the natural, leaders that this team had last year, where a guy like Herb Jones was a leader by example, but also in the locker room. I mean, he was a guy that talked a lot, that stepped up in team meetings and locker rooms at halftime and before and after games. And this team just doesn't, and listen, I'm not in the locker room, so this is just my opinion as an outsider, that you don't have some of the guys that maybe are quite as verbal and talking like they had last year with Herb Jones and John Petty, and even Alex Reese was a guy that we get in other spaces, and sometimes that's needed. And I think what they do have is very important, and that is team first, high character guys that are working hard and want to be great, and this team wants to be very good. So that's a great starting point. But yes, Nate Oates has challenged this team in terms of their maturity, consistency on the defensive end, and hopefully we'll see that this weekend in Starkville.
And we need to see that, no doubt about it. And I know you've started to see the SEC this year and around this league. A very promising start. I think it's maybe one of the top 2 leagues in the country, Brian.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the top half, really maybe 8, maybe 9 of this league is as good as it's ever been. And a great year to be really good, because there's some other leagues that are down. Like the ACC is really struggling. So, I mean, the SEC could conceivably get 8, 9 teams in the NCAA tournament. So if you're in the upper half of the SEC, you're going to be in good shape in terms of getting in the tournament and probably seeding. And the thing that's different this year is, maybe compared to years past, is I look around the SEC in that top half, or even, past the top half, the top 8 or 9, and there's a bunch of teams that I think can do damage in the NCAA tournament. That a team like Texas A&M, who I didn't really expect much out of this year. Hold on one second. Can you? Hey, you there?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we got you, Brian. Yeah, and you're right. Texas A&M, I think, has been one of the surprise teams in the league so far. Yeah,
they've been really good. And my apologies, my AirPod going back and forth between my phone and Bluetooth. Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, Texas A&M has been terrific this season and a surprise in the SEC, and they could continue their undefeated run in SEC play this weekend with Missouri on the schedule, who I think appears that they used up all their made shots against Alabama on Saturday, because they did not play nearly as well or shoot it nearly as well against Arkansas on Wednesday night. But Texas A&M has been a surprise and is one of the best, maybe the best in the country, and that'll prove to be true or not over the course of the season. The SEC Big 12 Challenge will go a long way in determining what's the best league in the country. Alabama has a pretty good team coming in a couple of weeks. The the best team in the country, in my opinion, in Baylor. And, great opportunity there. So hopefully Alabama can get on the winning track and start playing a little better basketball and more consistent basketball. And some great opportunities on the schedule remain. And a big one on Saturday against an NCAA tournament team in Mississippi State.
Really is. Well, we look forward to the call for you and Chris Stewart. It's going to be on of course, 97.7 The Zone. It'll be a 5 o'clock tip, 4 o'clock for the pregame. And Brian, before we let you go, what are the keys for you thinking Alabama getting a win on the road in Starkville?
Hey, you cut out on me. Hey, ask that one more time if you don't mind.
Yeah,
sorry, technical difficulties here.
No worries. Just what in your mind? What are the keys for Alabama to get a win in Starkville?
I think defense and rebounding. This team has proven when they've done those things consistently, they've won games regardless of when the shots have gone in. Boy, it'd be nice to make some open jumpers, but it starts defensively and rebounding. And even though Alabama didn't shoot the ball well against Auburn, a top 5 team, if they would have guarded a little better early in the second half and not gotten down 14 like they did, now to their credit, they came back. But if the job would have been a little better, a little more consistent on the defensive end, even though they shot 21% from 3, you still could have won that game. So I think that's where this team will become a championship contender or a team that doesn't live up to expectations. Defense and rebounding will be a key Saturday and a key the rest of the season.
Well, great stuff. We look forward to your call with Chris Stewart in Starkville. As we said, 4 o'clock pregame begins, and then 5 o'clock the tip. Brian, we appreciate it, and thank you for joining us.
Brian Pasick with us this morning. And let's get our final break in, because when we come back, we'll wrap up our 2-hour extravaganza live from Bill Penney Toyota out here in the service department.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We are winding things up quickly now. A couple of wrecks still may be trying to clear. Northbound on the Parkway near the Whitesburg overpass, 2 different wrecks there. One of them had an injury involved. And we had a car stuck across the railroad tracks on Moore's Mill near Jordan Road. That one was on the southbound side. Should be about wrapped up on it. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And just like that, welcome back to Talkin Ball. It's the final segment of the week for us in what has been an entertaining, exhausting, cold, great food, phenomenal week. We started the week in Indianapolis at the national championship game, and we're going to end the week here at Bill Penney Toyota. So it's been a phenomenal week. Yesterday, Drew, for the first time since the lockout, Major League Baseball did meet, or I should say meet. They sent a proposal to the Major League Baseball union, and as you might imagine, they made their first labor proposal since the lockout. They're awaiting the union's counter proposal, but obviously that proposal yesterday was not accepted. So the thing is, we are gearing up and getting close to the February starting point, or the February reporting date for pitchers and catchers. That now is appearing to be in jeopardy, but there is great speculation that they will start to ramp up discussions here in the next couple weeks as they continue their labor deal, or trying to find a labor deal. But yesterday was the first time that we had a proposal made.
Well, at least there was some discussion. That's the best part. There is not a lot of progress yet, but you have to have a starting point. That's certainly one. We hope they can get spring training started on time. That doesn't look like it's probably going to be likely.
Right.
But hopefully it won't be too late, and hopefully they can get all this worked out and resolved so the Braves can sign Freddie Freeman. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that cannot happen until the lockout ends and Major League Baseball gets back into the groove.
Right.
Tonight, another big night for high school basketball around the North Alabama area. Plenty of area games going on throughout the entire North Alabama area.
Yeah, the biggest are, of course, Grissom hosting Albertville, and then the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, 2-0 in 7A Area 7, Scott, and they are going to take on the Sparkman Senators under Jamie Coggins, who are outstanding. They're the champions of the Into Hoops Invitational over at Bob Jones, the champions of the Huntsville City Classic, and they are 1-0 in 7A Area 7. They had a game postponed due to weather against Albertville, but Sparkman's an outstanding program. They've got Agent Zero, Kalen Lightford, back. Great to see him back on the floor. And we're just really it's going to be a great environment. I think it'll be a much like the crowd we saw against Grissom this past Friday, which was an unbelievable atmosphere. Huntsville winning that, on the buzzer shot by Jamari Arnold. And Huntsville, had a gut check. They went on the road to Albertville and survived an unbelievable first quarter by Dylan Bennell's Aggies when they came out and made their first 6 shots and made 5 threes and got a double-digit lead. But the last 3 quarters, Huntsville dominated, and now they get a challenge of playing against Sparkman. They faced Sparkman in the semifinals in the Huntsville City Classic. You guys did that game on 97.7 The Zone. It was a heartbreaking loss. It was a gutsy effort without Jamari Arnold by the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, but they should have him back, a healthier Messiah Morris tonight. Kalen Lightford back for Sparkman, as we said. Landon Jacobs, the transfer from Madison Academy in the post. And of course Timber Kirk, who was the unbelievable story to be not start a game and be MVP of the Huntsville City Classic. So it should be an outstanding environment tonight and a great basketball game, and come out and support these young people.
Other news: Josh Pearson, former Jacksonville State, former Austin Black Bear. He has a new home. He is going to play north of the border this year. He's going to play for the BC Lions, Canadian Football League.
Remember, he got a Super Bowl ring with Tampa.
Yeah, he and the BC Lions making the announcement yesterday that they actually signed a pair of Alabama, I don't say natives, but Ardarius Stewart also signed with the BC Lions yesterday. Of course, Ardarius played in a Alabama uniform.
Yeah.
During his college days. So that is some good news there on the professional front.
Yeah, good to see Josh Pearson get another opportunity in professional football. Great young man that we got to know at Jacksonville State and Austin, and then went on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, been on our show. And then Ardarius Stewart from Fultondale had a really good career in Alabama, a short one with the Jets, but trying to restart it in the Canadian Football League.
All right, so that is some, I guess you could say, some news and notes around your headlines, your headlines today. Tomorrow, I'm trying to see. I know there was one other thing that I wanted to try and mention. Oh, yeah, today is the first day that college coaches can have contact with recruits.
Yeah.
And our good friend Mitchell Forty, who covers the Missouri Tigers, putting this out there, that Eli Drinkwitz and Marcus Johnson pulled up to Lee's Summit North High School today. Lee Summit North High School is home of the 2022 offensive lineman signee Ahmad Membo, and a 4-star recruit that they're trying to get. They pulled up this morning in dump trucks.
Okay.
To the high school to make a splash and to make a scene. They pulled up in gigantic dump trucks this morning.
Well, some would say that they might want to dump truck their defense because it was awful last year. But Elijah Drinkwitz, they finished the year playing better football. Connor Bazelak has gone into the transfer portal, though, so they've got some movement at the quarterback position. They had a disappointing end against Army in the bowl game, but again,
were you shocked by Bazelak going in the portal?
A little bit. I was surprised. I knew he didn't play as well this year and got injured, but I thought he would have a shot to keep his job, though I know that they have a young man that was heavily recruited that's on that roster now that they are very high on as far as the future of Mizzou football.
All right, and one more stat. Brett McMurphy just keeps pulling these out, and they're so fun to share. We started the show talking about the SEC dominance, and since the BCS era began in 1998, you ready for this one? The SEC has won 14 of 24 national titles. More impressively, the SEC has lost as many title games in an SEC versus SEC final as it has to non-SEC teams. SEC 11-3 in BCS college football playoff title games versus non-SEC teams, excluding the 3 SEC versus SEC title games. How about that?
Yeah, I mean,
that is just, I keep reading these numbers, and it's just you can't wrap your head around some of the numbers that we've just been able to see over the last year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no doubt.
You just can't.
Well, I want to thank Bill Penney Toyota, our great sponsor, for hosting us here on this Friday. It's been a very interesting week of Talkin Ball. We started out in Indiana at Uptown Cafe a couple of days. We got back from the national championship game. It's been a great week. We thank all the callers. We thank all the support. We thank Brian Pasick today and Mike Herndon.
All right, guys, we're going to be back at it again Monday morning. Don't forget Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, so banks will be closed on Monday, national holiday. If you got to get something done, get it done today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, Monday morning, live here from Bill Penney Toyota. We'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy the week. UAH basketball tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Zone 2.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway